Tasmai Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryang Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. I welcome you all for this session of Bhagavad Gita with the interest and enthusiasm from Hindu Temple of Allentown. Teachers from Arsha Vidya Gurukulam have been conducting this. It was started by our Swami Pratikbodhanji Maharaj with the blessings of Swami Viditatmanji Maharaj. My pranams to all the Gurus. We are into the 5th chapter. Actually, we are towards the completion of the 5th chapter. And we have seen 23 shlokas in this chapter. The last shloka which we saw was talking regarding a very great important sadhana, right? Sadhana is what we can take up to, what we can look up to, what we can implement. And it was talking regarding ihaiva yaha sodum saknoti, one who is able to prasahya, one who is able to handle, one who is able to master what? Master what? The vega, the speed with which we deliver our kama and krodha. Okay, prak shariram. This is all about Jivan Mukta. Here only if we can perform, if we can conduct ourselves with all the knowledge, the backing of knowledge is very important. Otherwise, in addition to other guilt, we'll have one more guilt called spiritual guilt. So, unless you learn properly how to handle, that's what I'm very interested to get into in these next few shlokas. The handling of all those emotions and winning over, and how we can do that. So I've been what I should say, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, he has put enough material in the next shloka, 3 shlokas to talk about all that. So the 24th shloka, which will be the first shloka for today, in which we are talking regarding more of such sadhana, antaranga sadhana. There are 2 types of sadhana. There are 2 types of practices. One is bahiranga sadhana, external means. Sadhana is actually means. And internal means. External means, like karma yoga is an external mean. Right action, right attitude. These are all external means. Although attitude is internal. But for knowledge, for self-knowledge, it is an indirect means. So internal means, we can also say indirect means. What does an indirect means? What does an indirect mean? The pun was not intended. Indirect mean or indirect way would mean that it is sequential. So karma yoga, then jnana prapti. After karma yoga, then gaining self-knowledge. Shravana, manana, nididhyasana. By listening, studying, and by analyzing, inquiring, comparing, comparative religion. You go to all the colleges here, they have a course. One of the courses is comparative religion. So they want the students in their college not to just think in terms of one religion, they want them to compare different religions. So I get to be called to talk when such a course is happening for one of the classes. So here also in study, also our own scriptures also, we have to do some comparative study. That is mananam. Within our own, within those schools of thoughts which have agreed upon Veda as a means of knowledge. So there will be comparative study. So these are all some of the internal means. Along with those internal means, what does internal means mean? It means they are direct means. Okay? That is where knowledge happens. That is where the moksha, the fruit called moksha, is evolved out of that kind of a study. So study is a direct means, action is an indirect means. Here, whatever we are going to see in the next few shlokas, they are all several of direct means for this self-knowledge. Look at this next shloka. Yontas sukontararamaha tatantarjyotireva yah sayogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhutodhigacchati. This is the 24th shloka of the 5th chapter. Here, yaha, the yaha word at the end of this sentence is a subject. And what does he accomplish? What is the verb? Adhigacchati, the last word in the second line, is what he accomplishes or she accomplishes. That person accomplishes. Yaha adhigacchati. Adhigacchati is to know. Knowing what? Knowing or achieving. Achieving through knowing. Achieving through knowing, which is as good as seeing, which is as good as experiencing. When it comes to yourself, knowing is experiencing. So this yaha adhigacchati, one who accomplishes what? Accomplishment is a verb which needs an object. Accomplishes what? Brahma nirvanam. He accomplishes Brahma nirvanam. We'll see those words. I'm just now rearranging the sentence. And that yaha, who is that person? Yaha is whosoever, whoever, who is having these qualifications which are listed here. What is that? Who is antas sukha, antas sukha. Then he is antara ramaha. Just again, right now we are just rearranging the words. Antara ramaha. These are the adjectives for that noun. Whoever is antas sukha, whoever is antara ramaha, whoever is antar jyotihi, he only eva. He is a yogi. Yogi is where? It is the next line. Saha yogi. That person is a yogi. And he accomplishes adhigacchati. Adhigacchati what? Brahma nirvanam. There's one more adjective. He is a Brahma bhutaha. Okay? He is a Brahma bhutaha. So again now, going back to the verse, let us look into the interesting meaning of this shloka. Yaha, whoever, antas sukha. He is this person is a sukha. Sukha. Sukhadia is a last name. Maybe from this word sukha only. So this sukha word means happy. It's a noun here. But this noun has got its own, it's a compound noun because it is combined with antas sukha. This sukha, this happiness of this person who is happy, it is antaratmani sukha. He is happy, this person is happy in oneself, in the reality of oneself, in the knowledge of self, in the Atma, the knowledge of Atma Antaha, whatever is inside. Inside is just a figurative. Inside means what? He is not waiting for the outside world to change for his happiness. Sadness, 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 suddenly some change outside. feeling good for a short time. And again, going back to the default mood. He is not like that. He is happy because of self-knowledge. Knowledge of the self. For some people, happiness is where, when I say outside, it can be in the locker, the bank locker, wherever they have put some gold for safety, which they never use. They're just happy that their gold is safe somewhere. And they don't mind paying rent for the locker also. And they're never going to wear. But they're happy that it is there. Does it make a lot of sense? No, I don't think so, right? For some people, their sukha is when they go to Europe. Their sukha is about going on a cruise or going to a tour in Europe. They may not find, they may be a vegetarian, searching for what to eat there, ending up making khichdi in their cabin. But still, they come and boast regarding their Europe trip. Austria, visiting those places, visiting those trees in Austria, Alps in Swiss, come back. And so this is all where the happiness is there. Is it any different from the from the child's happiness residing in the video games? It is also outside. And your happiness also, if it's outside, residing outside, then that is not, then what? You are paradinaha. Paradinaha is you are bound by changes outside for your moods. That is called para. Para means out. The adina means you're enslaved by what is outside, what is going to change outside. Oh, this anxiety, it should be like this, it should not change. Or this frustration, why is this not changing? Why is this person like this? Right? So when the world outside changes, if your happiness is going to be dependent on that, my God, Ishvara, is it dependent on just you? No, it is dependent on several factors, right? So we have to be swadhinaha. We have to, the paradhinata, tyajyam, it has to be given up, and the swadhinata has to be there. There's a very famous saying. What does it say? Sarvam paravasham dukkham. Sarvam atmavasham sukham. Sarvam paravasham. Whatever, anything, if it is dependent on the external situations, there's bound to be more dukkha and less sukha. And if it is independent of what is outside, then there's going to be more sukha, a few dukkha incidents, it's something which can make sad, can come and go. That will become incidental. And in fact, this is told, the sarvam paravasham dukkham, sarvam atmavasham sukham, this is told as the lakshana. This is the quality of sukha and dukkha. So if you want to experience sukha, you have to, be independent of outside situations. And then, it is like you have money, say, and suppose if you give it to someone else, your whole wealth, then you are dependent on him for your existence and happiness, like that. So we are like that. People have given up searching happiness within themselves in terms of knowledge. Okay, this is not something to realize by just closing the eyes and sitting every day a few minutes. Now, whatever spurana, whatever thought process, spandana is happening in your mind because you're listening, right? It is not because you're closing your eyes and and meditating, right? You can do that later. So this is the secret. Atmavasham Sukham. And this Atma is what? It is yourself. It is yourself. Like the wave, if it is worried about its shape compared to the other wave's shape, and if it decides, this small wave decides one fine day, enough is enough, let me go and dash on the huge wave. I cannot take this jealousy anymore. So it goes and does that, not knowing that is also water, this is also as water. So not knowing this knowledge of the self of the wave, the wave does that, thinking that that is going to give me sukha, something external has to change. You see that is how our seeking happiness external is also can be that kind of a search because of ignorance. So we all, this antah sukha is what is a criterion. And that antah sukha can bring a prasannata. Prasannata is that kind of it brings that happiness is reflected in your talk and walk and in your face, naturally. Then what is the other sadhana which this wise man has accomplished? Antararamaha. He is a aramaha. His name is what? This wise person's name is called Aramaha. Aramaha is he's relaxed. He feels at home. But where does he feel at home? Where do you feel at home? You feel at home at your home. Right? Even people who come to ashram, after a week, 10 days, 5 days, when they go back home, they throw everything and they relax in their couch. They feel they are at home again. No more standing in line for food. No more sitting in a big hall and trying to focus. So they're back in their home and they feel very relaxed. So when you feel relaxed, that is where you feel relaxed. That is your home. So where the jnani where does he feel relaxed? Antaha, antaratmani aramaha. His aram is his self. With the knowledge of the self, in the self, he is content. He is satisfied. He is relaxing. Which means what? He is not looking forward for, again, we can again talk about the situations, but here specifically for his krida, for his sporting, we all want to connect with people, stay in touch, which is all good, especially now when people are all focused on their cell phones and other gadgets so much. Now this person, he is not looking for that kind of an impetus to feel relaxed. I'm relaxed. I saw this person. My child is gone to school. When the child comes home, the mom is relaxed, right? If the child comes late, then it is disturbing. The arama is when the child comes home, then the relaxation is happening. That is reasonable. But some people are there, come to ashram, and their relaxation is dependent on other people. Somebody is there, somebody is missing. Children are like that. When they come to ashram also, they want their friends to be there. Then they're arama, then they're relaxed. Then they don't need anything. That is relaxation, right? Then they're happy. They don't need classes also. They just want company. So this person is not like that. He's antararama. This wise man is Antara Ramaha. And that is also because he knows the truth about himself. He is not missing himself. Just because a person is missing, just because this woman is missing, just because this man is missing, he is not missing because it is the same self. He is not missing himself. That kind of a relaxed person he is. For his Ramana, for his Krida, he is not for his sporting, for his moods, and for him to be free from boredom. He is not looking for people and chit chatting and those kinds of things. That is another lakshana of this jnani. And then what? Tata yaha antar jyotihi. Whoever after that, tata, after the two qualifications we saw, like antas sukha and antararamaha, the third criterion is antar jyotihi. Antar jyotihi is light, and antaratmani jyotihi. That person is a jnani who is evident, who knows that it is his own. He is self-evident. He knows he is self-evident, and he knows that everything shines after him. He knows that his light in terms of consciousness, in terms of knowledge, that is what is required for experiencing anything in this world. Even that sun, the light of the sun also has to be shown, has to be illuminated by his light. Then only you can say, I can see the sun. Although sun is illuminating all the time, but this person's self has to back it up. The light of the self has to shine even the sunlight. Even more, the sunlight can only shine objects in this world. But the sunlight even cannot shine the darkness. It cannot show. You cannot catch hold of the sunlight and tell, you are showing me all the objects in this world. Can you also show me some darkness? The sunlight cannot walk with you and show, hey, look, this is darkness. Why? Because the moment sunlight reaches there is no darkness. But yourself, which is self-illumining, it is not like the light of the sun, so bright and blinding. It is not like that. It is so soothing. In fact, it is not like any other light in this world. It can even show you darkness. You can know that this is darkness without disturbing the darkness. Unlike the sun, you will know, oh, there is darkness, this is light. Everything is shown by yourself. So one who knows that, antar jyotihi, eva, this person, that person, eva saha yogihi, he is the person who is yogi. He alone is the yogi. Eva is alone. He alone is the yogi. Saha yogi. So he is the one who is really endowed with something. The endowment is all these qualities. So this yogi is one who is he is connected, he is associated. Yogi means one who is associated. But here, associated with what? Associated with yoga. Here, yoga, here in Tamil, the word yogam means good luck. One meaning for the word yogam is good luck. He has got yogam, they say, which means he has got good luck. But here, when you say he is a yogi, he's got yogam, you're saying he's got all this. He is very clear, and he is called antar jyotihi. He is antara ramaha and is antas sukha. And such a person, what about him? He is also brahma bhutaha. Brahma Bhutaha. And this word Brahma Bhutaha is Jivan Neva, which means being alive is a Bhutaha. Here is a being. Bhutaha means being, but Bhutaha always means what? In Sanskrit, living being. The living being is a Jivan Muktaha. Brahma Bhutaha is a living being who is Brahma itself. Brahma itself. He is all this Antasukha, Antararamaha, Antarjyotihi, all the names you are given to not to that person. You are given to that person who sees himself as Brahma. He is not different from Brahma. Bhutaha, which is Brahma only. That is the person. And being alive, even while he is alive, Brahma Nirvanam Gacchati, Adhigacchati. He accomplishes Prapnoti. He accomplishes Brahma Nirvanam. This word Nirvana is very popular, especially in Buddhism. In Buddhism, Nirvana they call as Shunya. Nirvana is Shunya. Nirvana is nothingness in Buddhism. For us, Nirvanam is what? Brahma Nirvanam. Is Brahmani Nirvrittihi. Bhashyakara Shankaracharya Ji Maharaj, Brahmani Nirvrittihi is what? The Vigraha for this Samasa that is the expansion for this word. What does it mean? Nirvrittihi is Nirgataha Vrittihi. Nirgataha Vrittihi means everything is resolved in himself or herself, being Brahma. Brahmani Nirvrittihi. Everything, all the cheshta, all the activities are resolved. All the activities of the mind and senses and the body, they're all resolved. He's a very composed person. That doesn't mean he will be like a stone. No, he's a very composed, together person who has got a mastery, a sense of mastery over situations because he has got mastery over himself, herself. So that is a Brahma Nirvana. Or you can say Nishchayana Vrittihi. His Vritti is always steadfast in his knowledge of the self, Brahmani. So that doesn't shake, that cannot be shaken. Everything else changes, but himself, he knows that he is not subject to any change. That he accomplishes. So quickly, if I can do the translation here, the one whose fulfillment is in oneself, the one who revels in oneself, the one whose mind is awake to oneself, that wise person alone, whose self is Brahman, gains the freedom which is Brahman. So remember this word, Brahma Nirvanam Adhigacchati. This is the theme, or this is the last word for the next two shlokas also. And we're going to see more about this Jnani person, because we could also see a summary of the 5th chapter. You will see that how this is all coming together in the whole theme of the 5th chapter. So the next shloka is also regarding this Jnani. Labhante Brahma Nirvanam Rishayah Kshina Kalmashaha Chinnadvaidha Yatatmanah Sarvabhuta Hiterataha. Sarvabhuta Hiterataha is the highlight of this shloka. Very beautiful word, has been picked up by many people regarding when they talk regarding the Tatparya of the entire Gita. So what's the verb in this verse? The verb is labhante, he gains, that person gains. Labhante what? Gains what? Brahma Nirvanam. Is that a new word for you? No, we just saw that word, right? We're going to see that again. Brahma Nirvanam Labhante. Now this verb is now set. The object of the verb is Brahma Nirvanam. It gains what? Brahma Nirvanam. Now where is the subject? All the other words are the different adjectives for the subject. So subject is called by all these beautiful words. He is a Rishaya. He is a Rishi. That person is a Rishi. And he is Kshina Kalmashaha. We'll see all those words. That person is Chinna Dvaidha. The one who is Chinna Dvaidha, one who is Kshina Kalmashaha, one who is Rishaya, one who is Yatatmanaha. Then finally the one who is Sarva Bhuta Iterataha. All these words are all plural, not the one. Those who are Rishaya, those who are the Rishaya, those who are Kshina Kalmashaha, those who are Chinna Dvaidha, those who are Yatatmanaha, then those who are Sarvabhuta Ite Rataha, these people, they are going to be the ones who are going to accomplish Brahma Nirvanam. So all very nice words. Let us see those words. And the first word we're going to see is Kshina Kalmashaha. Kshina means Nasha, destroyed. What is destroyed? Kalmashaha. It's something very bad is destroyed, which is good, right? Kalmashaha is all the papas, all the sins, demerits, mistakes, all the omissions and commissions. And papadi is there, including along with the vasana, along with those habits, along with those values which have made us committed to those sins, including all those values. Because the values, if they remain, then there's a chance again to commit the same papa, right? So along with all those values, they are all destroyed. For the one who is for everything, all those papas are destroyed. How do you destroy the papas? How do you go over these values based on our strong sense of likes and dislikes, or extreme sense of hate and love and all that? How do you go over that? By performing karma yoga, right? In karma yoga, you are offering everything, all those pairs of opposites which are happening in your mind to Ishvara, and you're receiving all the results as prasada. This is how what happens. Your papas are all mitigated, slowly but steadily, gradually but steadily. Then what happens? Your mind is having that shuddhata. Your mind is antakarana is now prepared, ready, available, pure. Your mind is pure and ready, available. Then your mind also starts thinking. How do you know if it is pure? The water, we know it's pure if it is not mixed with salt or sugar or honey even. Water is, pure water is free from all. How do you know that your mind, what is the criterion? In a pure antakarana shuddhi, questions will arise. Questions regarding the world, questions regarding your own grind, the grind you are undergoing every day in terms of samsara, in terms of as though you're accomplishing something, but you're not really moving forward, either in your especially in your spiritual life. You're not having that sense of composure, peace, and inner leisure and all that. That has not changed. So then you start thinking, right? That means your antakarana is now getting prepared for some listening of the Shastra, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam. And then that is it. You have entered into that time-tested path, which has been the one taken by even rishis of the Yor, when you start doing Shravana. And when you do this Shravana, then you gain self-knowledge. Because The Shravana focuses on the ignorance about yourself, and it focuses on the errors which we commit. And so when the errors are all removed, what shines is the self-evident self. Now it's like throwing gold in fire. Here the fire is fire of knowledge. So what happens? As the gold boils, all the impurities, all the ore impurities, they all melt away. And you will see when it is all melt away, you don't have to search for the gold. The gold is so shining, more shining than when you make it as an ornament. That's a pure, virgin, fresh kind of a gold, pure, just produced gold. That gold I'm talking about. So that is what is your self-knowledge when you take up the Shravana. And that the phala, the result of self-knowledge is moksha, which is Paramananda Prapti. Your ananda, your happiness is on this knowledge of yourself. So that is the result. So this one, Kshina Kalmashaha, involves all these things. Then Chinna Dvaidha, Dvida, Samshaya, doubt, Chinna Dvaidaha. All his doubts are resolved. What are the different types of doubts? You can either, when it comes to spiritual, you have doubts regarding, we have doubts regarding everything. We have doubts regarding the vaccination also. And when we see some news regarding how people are still affected, we have more doubts, right? So that is there. When it comes to Shastra, we can categorize the doubts as Pramanagata Samshaya and Prameyagata Samshaya. There can be doubts regarding the authenticity, regarding the efficacy of the scriptures, efficacy of Vedanta in resolving my fundamental problem. So then, when you give a length of time, when you study with giving some benefit of doubt, you see it all makes sense. Over time, the clarity grows and all that. So that is one type of doubt. Those can be resolved by taking up the studies. Other doubt is Prameyagata Samshaya. Prameya is what I am trying to accomplish. That, myself as being limitless Brahman, Atma, free from the afflictions of the body, mind, senses, can that be true? Is that the end goal? Or is it just a carrot, dangling carrot? So like that, you may have doubts regarding the goal also. So those doubts are also resolved. He is the Chinna Dvaidha. Then he is Yatatmanaha. So Yatatmanaha is Yatatmanaha, which is Chinna Dvaita, if I want to say in one word, one who is free from doubts. And Yatatmanaha is one who is Sanyata Atmanaha. Yata Atmanaha is Sanyata Atmanaha. What does it mean? I just told, for one Sanskrit compound word, I have just told you another word, another compound word. What it means is Atmanaha is, Atma is what? Your Antakarana, your mind. Sanyata Atmanaha is one who has got a composed mind, who's got a relative mastery over his mind, the ways of his mind. And then he is a Sarva, this is a highlight word, Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha. Sarva Bhuta, the Bhuta, what did I say regarding the word Bhuta in the previous shloka? All beings. I said all living beings, right? So this person is, so Sarva is the all word, all, and then Bhuta is the living beings, all living beings. He is given to the peace and happiness of all beings. Well, we saw in the previous sloka, he himself doesn't shake away from that stable inner leisure happiness he has. At the same time, he is also not inflicting any harm upon others in terms of words or deeds or even thought. And also he's got compassion, he's got respect towards others, the way they are coming up. He encourages them, motivates them, he helps them in all different possible. At least he prays for them. Very sincerely puts a word of prayer, so that way, he's also not worried about them. And then Rishayaha. So he is the Rishaya. Rishi is Drashtaraha. The seers are called Rishis. In English, some old books you'll see Rishi word, sage. They call it seers. Seers. What do they see? They see this self which cannot be subject to any change, which is always there, ever present. And this person, this Rishi, the Rishaya, don't take him to be someone with a long beard sitting in the Himalayas or under a tree. This can be you. After Karma Yoga, it can be any Grahastha. Gita is the teaching of Bhagavan Sri Krishna to a Grahastha called Arjuna. Right? So this is the Rishaya. And Brahma Nirvanam we saw is steadfast in the knowledge of Brahman, about himself, free from all the other doubts and whatnot. He gains that 11th. Okay, so I wanted to say more about this shloka. I cut it a little short because I'm interested in talking a bit about the next shloka. So here, quickly translating, sages whose impurities have been destroyed. What is the impurity word? Kalmashaha, Kshina Kalmashaha, right? Impurities. So you have to connect to what I said regarding Papa and what it is and all that, right? And impurities have been destroyed, whose doubts have been resolved, who have self-mastery and who are happily engaged in the good of all beings, gain liberation. This is the translation for the shloka. Now, next shloka. Well, hopefully we'll do justice to this next shloka within the next 15 minutes we have. Kama krodha viyuktanam yatinam yata chetasam abhito brahma nirvanam vartate viditatmanam. So it's a very beautiful shloka. We're going to talk a little bit regarding kama krodha in this shloka. And the last word is viditatmanam. That is the Viditatmananda Swamiji Maharaj. It's the name of our Adhyaksha here. So our Swamiji's name has come in this shloka. So the verse starts with what? Kama Krodha Viyuktanam. So we saw that shloka, the last session, the last shloka is Kama Krodha Vega Yaha Sodum Sakyate. The Vega, the momentum of the Kama Krodha was being told to be curbed, right? Just the speed, the momentum, the intensity. Here, it's regarding how Kama Krodha itself, the Kama is what? We'll talk about that here. And then we can loosely translate it as desires, binding desires. Krodha is anger, kopa. And this they just leave this person, this jnani. We'll see how. And so again the word Brahma Nirvanam is there. He gains vartate. Vartate is what? He remains. There is liberation here and hereafter. So he remains Brahma Nirvanam. He gains that. He remains in that, he is situated in that self-knowledge. Now, let us go to the word Kama Krodha Viyuktanam. So one of the shlokas, previous shlokas, we saw both Kama, which is loosely translated as desire. You'll have to see. You'll have to give your own translation based on what I'm going to say. And Krodha is anger. Viyuktanam, Kamascha, Krodascha, Tabhyam, from those two, Viyuktanam, Viyukta, one who is free from those two. Sanyukta is one is connected to that. Viyukta is one is free from that. That person, Viyuktanam, those people, of those people. And this kama is what? Kama is a manovritti. Manaha is mind. Kama vritti. Mind, it is a state of mind. Kama is state of mind. Desire, binding desire, hankering, longing, that kind of a longing desire for change, it is a mental condition, mental state. Because this state is making us do what? Making us think like this. Think that, oh, may I just accomplish this. This is what is going to give me my happiness. I'll do everything. I'll orient myself in such a way so that I can get more and more of this kama in my life, of this particular type of kama, binding desire. And you will have that kind of an expression also. If your kama, if your binding desire, if the most valuable thing in your life is money, then you kind of smile at the moneyed people. You have this smile. And there's no money, if the person doesn't have money, you don't even respect him. Is this good? This is not good, right? We see that all the time. Unconsciously, you do that because of the value for money. Unconsciously, we do that because of the value for position. This is all what? It is a mental state. So this is the kama we are talking about, where you have this kind of an attitude problem because of some false values. So that kind of kama we are talking about. Kama, the desire based on false values. Better translation, right? Better definition. And krodha is anger. Anger again is what? It is also manovrittihi. It is also a mental state or condition. Here, you try to, and kama, you try to go towards that object of desire, losing your own self-respect if need be. In krodha, you try to go away from that object because of your anger. You try to push it aside. Right? This is the krodha. And then also you have a certain look when you see that situation, when that situation comes, or when there's the person who's going to be making you upset. There's no smile in the face. It's gone. It's very hard to smile in that situation, right? There's no smile. Sometimes the anger is shown in the eyes, by throwing something, or in the arm, in the hands also it comes out in terms of some action. Of course, in several words it comes out. It is also all from the mental condition called krodha. So these two are opposite, you see. In a way, kama and krodha are opposite. So these two are there. And where does it reside? It resides in our mind. And we are not here talking regarding atyanta nivritti. We're not asking us to work on it and get rid of it completely, as though they are the worst enemies and all that. That kind of a focus is not the point here. The point is that they are there, recognizing, and that they affect us, recognizing that. They're there in the form of the seed. It's a seed in the mind. And the mind is inside your body. So it is very securely placed in the form of a seed maybe for your own advantage. Maybe you want to, if you want to have that extra motivation, enthusiasm, this desire can be used for that. Kama can be used for that. And suppose if you want to stay safe, stay put, stay away, that seed of krodha is required to stay away. So you can actually make use of this seed of kama and krodha to kind of keep yourself away from harm's way, or take yourself to something, to motivate yourself for something good. And you can also do this, for example. If there is a lot of krodha, you use kama. Krodha is there, you use kama. Kama is what? You use love, compassion, and take to that role playing and see if that can help resolve your anger. And suppose if there is so much of running after your false sense of values, that is kama, use krodha, use anger at the ways your mind is going after this. So that way you can bring back your mind. Use krodha for that. Right? So this way you can actually deal with this kama and krodha in a very proper way, in a very tricky way. It is like an uninvited guest. They come, and once the guest comes, you don't yell at him or you don't throw something at him and ask him to get out, right? That's not going to work. You'll first look at him and or her and say, "Oh wow, I didn't know you're going to be coming." And then if he says, "May I come in? May I come in for a few minutes?" Or and that few minutes can even become few hours. But you still say, "All right, please come." And so you want to deal with that person because he has come when you are in the midst of some busy activity. So how politely you deal with him, and you sometimes take advantage also. How you say, "Okay, now that you have come, can you watch? If you trust him, can you watch? I just want to go and come back," or something like that. You can ask him. So you take advantage of that. Or you can say, "You relax here in the couch, watch the TV, and you decide for yourself. Now this is just a Bhagwan's icha that I should go and take care of my bedroom upstairs, which I have never gotten to, which I have never paid attention to." So you open your wardrobe upstairs. You say, "You put this person here in front of the couch in front of the TV, where you thought you will relax, and you go and do the chores." So likewise, we have to deal with kama and krodha, uninvited guest. We deal with them, and we're not about getting rid of them. We are about being very awareful. So this whole spiritual pursuit is not about some utopian freedom from all this different mind sets or different ways of the mind. It is it is a very smart, tricky way, the spiritual path, in handling all this and making progress. And when you do this kind of a progress, or when you do this kind of handling, you feel rewarded right away. You feel rewarded right away. So that is the phala. So this is not, spirituality is not regarding some rewards after death, of in terms of some loka. Spirituality is a reward here and now. So that kama krodha viktanam, then yata chetasam. So we had to complete this shloka. So I think I did some justice to this word kama krodha, which is a problem, which is a universal problem, right? Yata chetasam. Yata is word which has come in the previous shloka, which is sanyata, composed. Instead of sanyatatma in the previous shloka, here yata chetasam, sanyata chetasam. Chetas is your mind only, not different from your mind. So here also it is about having a composed mind. Means mastery, relative mastery. Then that etinam, that sannyasi, and he can be a sarva karma sannyasi, he can be a nitya sannyasi, which was the starting topic in the 5th chapter. Who is a nitya sannyasi? Don't look around. Don't think of some Himalayas. You are a nitya sannyasi. You can be that nitya sannyasi. Bhagavan has given that word, nitya sannyasa, to a grihastha in the beginning of this chapter. So that you who got all these qualities, then very important, viditatmana. So you can say this is all relative. Even when I'm talking, some people will think I have no anger problem. It's somebody else who has got the problem, and I'm not the cause. Someone else is the cause, and I'm relatively composed. I'm relatively content. All these thoughts might come. It's all very subjective, right? But then if that person who is overconfident, if he asks, why am I not able to accomplish my spiritual goal? Because of vidita, you have to be that viditatma Maharaj. Viditatmanji Maharaj, you have to be. What is vidita? Vidita is jnata. Jnata is what? Knowledge. This atma, in this antakarana, in your buddhi, this knowledge has to be there. This self-knowledge has to be there. So one who has got that self-knowledge and one who is happy in himself, in the knowledge of self, he is our V5.24 Maharaj. So that you have to be. And then Abhitaha. Abhitaha means then, here, hereafter, now, later, all the time. That is Abhitaha. Abhitaha vartate. You are reveling. You are reveling. You are being what? In that Brahma Nirvanam. You are being in that steadfastness, in that, all that what Brahma is about in terms of happiness, in terms of knowledge, in terms of reality. Brahma Nirvana, moksham. You will accomplish moksha, which is the final purushartha, which is the final urge, which is the urge, underlying urge in and around all that other urges which makes us run around. So that you'll accomplish. So with this, we'll conclude. And so this is what it is all. It is all our sadhana. It is all antaranga sadhana, which is all we take up to our own as our own means. And let me quickly translate this shloka and conclude. For sannyasis, those who are free from desire and anger, whose mind is under control and who knows the self, there is liberation both here and in the hereafter, which is what is the word? Abhitaha. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all. We'll see if we can attend the Bhagavatam session, which is right after this on Zoom. I appreciate you all who have been very consistently attending these Gita classes. Harihi Om.